Welcome to all. So we have studied about the concept of solids in the previous classes. So solids are mainly classified into two types. They are crystalline solids and amorphous solids. So in crystalline solids, again there are four different types: ionic solids, next covalent solids, molecular solids and metallic solids. So under molecular solids there are three types, right? Polar molecular solids, next non-polar molecular solids and hydrogen bonded molecular solids. And we were also studied the concept of crystal lattice and unit cell. So what do you mean by a unit cell? It is a smallest portion of the crystal lattice which when repeated in different directions, the entire crystal lattice will be obtained. So under unit cells we have two different types, right? One is primitive unit cell and centered unit cell. So what is primitive or a simple unit cell? In this cell we have only the corner particles, only at the corners the constituent particles are present. Under centered unit cell, three types again, right? BCC, body centered cubic unit cell, where the constituent particles present at the corners plus there is a particle at the center of the body. Next is the FCC, face centered cubic unit cell, where along with the corner particles, the particle present at the centers of each face, each faces. Clear? And the third type is end centered unit cell, where along with the corner particles, the particle present at the centers of any two opposite faces, where we have to consider any two opposite faces. Clear? Okay. So as we all know that there are seven basic primitive unit cells. They are cubic, tetragonal, orthorhombic, hexagonal, rhombohedral, monoclinic and triclinic. Clear? Okay. Today we'll discuss about the close packing in solids. Close packing in the sense, see, in crystalline solids, the constituent particles are orderly arranged. So now we'll study about the ordered arrangement of the constituent particles in different dimensions. Now let us consider the arrangement of the constituent particles in one dimension. One dimension in the sense, either in any one axis you can choose, or you can say that it has a direction or a axis. So consider so these are the constituent particles in solids. They are arranged in a one dimensions along only one axis. You can see here, if you consider any particle at the center, so consider this one, so it will be in contact with two of its neighboring particles. Clear? It will touches two spheres. So now here I'll define one important term called coordination number. Coordination number. So what is coordination number? It is a number of nearest neighbors of a particle. Coordination number means it is a number of nearest neighbors of a particle. Important definition for 1 mark. So what is coordination number? It is a number of nearest neighbors of a particle. So see here, if you consider this particle, the number of nearest neighbors of this particular particle is 2. Right? The neighboring particles are here 2. Therefore, coordination number in one dimension is always 2. So now see here, so these are the constituent particles. These spheres are nothing but the constituent particles in solids. It may be atoms, ions or even molecules. So individual molecules. See here only one dimension is there. What do you mean by one dimension? Having only one axis, or you can say that it may be x axis, not having any other axis. Y axis not there, or even z axis not there. So I can consider it as a x direction. So along x direction, or the particles are arranged like this. So if you see one particle, if you consider the second particle here, it will touch two of its neighbors, right? It will in contact with the two neighboring particles. So the coordination number of this particle is 2 here. So what do you mean by coordination number? The number of nearest neighbors of a particular particle. So this is a close packing in one dimension. Clear? Now let us consider close packing in 2 dimensions. So consider the close packing in 2 dimensions. There are 2 ways of arranging the constituent particles. In 2 dimensions, we can arrange the constituent particles in 2 different ways. They are AA type of arrangement, AA type of arrangement, and AB type of arrangement. Clear? So now we have to take or consider 2 dimensions. Either it is length or breadth or x and y axis. So 2 directions we have to choose. See, under AA type, so let it be A, the layer A, and only one dimension it has. Now I need 2 dimensions. So what we have to do? One more layer. Have to place one more layer above this. Like this. This is also A type. See here, the spheres of the second layer, they lie exactly the spheres of the first layer. Clear? Consider one more layer here. This layer is also similar to A type, the first layer, or similar to second layer. So this is also layer A. So now this will be AA type of arrangement. Clear? If you consider any sphere at the center, so consider this particular sphere. See here, this is a sphere. Now see the neighboring particles. So it will touch us 4 spheres. Can you see? 4 neighboring particles. So what is the coordination number? It is 4. So what is coordination number? It is the number of nearest neighbors of a particle. Or if you join the centers of these 4 spheres, the neighboring spheres, like this, the geometry obtained will be a square. Clear? It is a square. Therefore, in 2 dimensions, this type of AA type of arrangement in 2 dimensions is also known as square close packing. It is square close packing. It is square close packing. Why it is square close packing? Because we'll get a square here on joining the centers of these 4 neighboring spheres, and also coordination number of this particle is 4 here. So now look at the models. See here, whether it is 2-dimensional close packing structure, yes, having length and breadth. Only 2 dimensions or 2 directions are there, length and breadth. So this is AA type. The first layer is A type, the second layer is also A type. The spheres of the second layer, they are exactly above one another, right? So this is also A type. If I keep one more layer here, then this will be like this, clear? So if I keep one more layer here, this is A type, again the second layer is also A type, again you have to keep similar such layers, one above the other. So if you consider the central particle, it will be in contact with the 4 neighboring particles, see, like this. So this is close packing in 2 dimensions. Under that, A type where coordination number is 4. Each sphere will be in contact with the 4 neighboring particles. Now under 2 dimensions, one more type is AB type of arrangement. What is this AB type? So this is the first layer that is in 1 dimension. So we want 2 dimensions here. What we have to do? Have to keep one more layer above this. The type will be B type, not like A. So I am doing here is, you can see the depressions. What do you mean by depressions? The empty spaces over here. These are the depressions. So I'll keep the particle, constituent particle, in the depression like this. So this is B type. The third layer similar to A. So this is B type. So this type of arrangement in a 2 dimensions, there are 2 directions, x and y axis. So in 2 dimensions, the arrangement is AB or BA type. Now consider the central particle. Here, how many neighboring particles are there? Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Therefore, in 2 dimensions, in AB type of arrangement, the coordination number is 6 here. What do you mean by a coordination number? It is a number of nearest neighbors of a particle. See, this is one nearest neighboring particle. This is also one more particle. Now I'll join the centers of all these spheres like this. You can see the geometry here. It is hexagon. Hence, AB type of arrangement in 2 dimensions is also known as hexagonal close packing. Hexagonal close packing, because the particular particle, it will be in contact with the 6 spheres. So on joining the centers of all these spheres, we'll get a hexagon. Hence The type of arrangement or a packing, close packing, is also known as hexagonal close packing. So here coordination number is equal to 6. See here, this is two-dimensional close packing. What is two dimensions? Having only x-axis and y-axis, or you can say it is length, it is breadth. Clear? Only two dimensions. So the first layer is, consider it as A type. See the second layer. Here in the depression of the first layer, the spheres of the second layer are exactly kept here. Again, the third layer is similar to A. Again, if you want to keep a fourth layer, then it will be like second layer, B type. Now, see this pink colored particle or a sphere, it will be in contact with the 6 neighboring particles, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you join the centers of all these 6 spheres, you will get what? Hexagon. Hence, this type of AB type of arrangement in 2 dimensions, we can also call it as hexagonal close packing, where the coordination number of particular particle is 6, because it will be in contact with the 6 neighboring particles. Clear? Now, you can also see here, within the spheres, you can see some empty spaces. What we have studied in the solids, the constituent particles are well orderly arranged, but even then we can find some empty spaces in between the constituent particles. They are also called as voids. It is nothing but void. Void. What is a void? It is an empty space. Empty space between the constituent particles. Clear? So this is about two-dimensional close packing in 2 dimensions. We have 2 different types. One is AA type, which is also known as square close packing, where the coordination number is equal to 4. And one more type is AB type of arrangement, which is also known as hexagonal close packing, and the coordination number is 6 here. Clear? Now, consider the close packing in 3 dimensions. Next is close packing in 3 dimensions. For this, we have to consider both two-dimensional square close packing structure and two-dimensional hexagonal close packing structure. So I'll consider two-dimensional, or we have to take two-dimensional square close packing, two-dimensional close packed structure. So what is two-dimensional square closed structure? It will be like this. AA type is the first layer in 1 dimension. So this is a two-dimensional close packed structure, that is AA type. AA type, or we need to consider square close packing like this. So this is AA type of two-dimensional close packed structure. Now I need 3 dimensions structure. So what we have to do here is, we have to keep one more layer above the first layer. So this is 3-dimensional structure having length, breadth and height. There are 3 directions or 3 dimensions. See, x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. So this is two-dimensional two-dimensional square closed structure, AA type. Clear? This is AA type. A type. The spheres are exactly one above the other. So this is two-dimensional square closed packing. So now here three-dimensional letters having three axes. So three-dimensional AA type of arrangement. So this type of the three-dimensional square closed packing is also known as cubic closed packed structure. Cubic closed packed structure. So in three dimensions, first we need to consider two-dimensional square closed packing. After that we have to keep a second layer over the first layer like this. So I'll consider this is a second layer. So we will get a three-dimensional square closed packing, which is also known as cubic closed structure, and its primitive cell is a simple cell. What is simple primitive unit cell? Having the constituent particles only at the corners. So it will be continued in all the three directions. So we'll be get entire crystal lattice is cubic crystal lattice. Clear? Now under three dimensions, one more type is by considering two-dimensional hexagonal close packing. Now I have to take two-dimensional hexagonal close packing structure. So this is hexagonal close packing structure. Clear? A type. What is hexagonal close packing? See, this is a two-dimension, length and breadth. The first layer is A type, the second layer it is B because we kept the spheres in the depression of the first layer, and also the third layer is similar to A type. So it is two-dimensional structure. Now in order to form a three-dimensional structure, I have to keep one more layer above the first layer, right? See, this is two-dimensional hexagonal close packing. Why it is hexagonal? See the central particle, it will be in contact with the 6 neighboring particles, so it is hexagonal close packing in a 2 dimensions. So in order to form a 3 dimensions, I'll keep one more layer above the first layer in such a way that the spheres of the second layer, the spheres, see here, the spheres of the second layer, they must be in the depressions of the first. Depressions andrenu? The empty space. So ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಲೇಯರ್ನ ಸ್ಪಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಲೇಯರ್ನ ಡಿಪ್ರೆಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಡಬೇಕು, ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್. So this is 3-dimensional structure now. See, this is length, breadth and height. There are 3 axes or 3 directions, x, y, z. So 3-dimensional structure. Here this is the second layer. If you consider the first layer, this is a A type, let it be A, and these are the B type, so A, B. Now one more layer if I keep here, it will be like A. Understood? So by considering 2-dimensional hexagonal close packed structure, that is this one, this is two-dimensional hexagonal close packed structure. By keeping one more layer above the first layer, then the arrangement is of the type AB type. AB type. So this is A type. Next is B type. Again, third layer, if you consider, it will be similar to A type. Again, the fourth layer is B. Imagine in three dimension, imagine the structures A, B, A, B. Now, in this case, you observe, or there are two types of voids are formed. Two types of voids. What is a void? It is an empty space. See, this is a two-dimensional hexagonal close packing between three spheres. Between three spheres, here is a space, vacancy or void. Now, if I keep one particle in the depression, so this is two-dimensional hexagonal close packing. Between the three spheres, we have some space, that is void. So between these three spheres, there is a space called void. If I keep fourth particle in the depression like this, then whatever the space is created within these four spheres, it is of tetrahedral voids. It is tetrahedral. Why it is tetrahedral? See, if you join the centers of these three spheres, you will get what? A geometry, that is triangle. Clear? If you join the centers of these three spheres, you will get a geometry, that is triangle. Now, imagine I am keeping one particle in the center. Now you have to join these three corners to this corner or this center. If you join the centers of these three spheres to the center of this particle, then just imagine it is a tetrahedron. The geometry obtained will be a tetrahedron. Hence, the void or empty space created within these four spheres is tetrahedral void. So in three-dimensional structure, in AB type of arrangement, you can have different types, that is a tetrahedral voids inside the spheres. So many tetrahedral voids are there. See, this is a three spheres and the space is, whatever the space is of triangular shape. If I keep like this, then so many tetrahedral voids are formed. What is tetrahedral void? The void created between the four spheres. Similarly or simultaneously, at the same time, there is one more type of void is created, that is called octahedral void. Octahedral. See, what is this octahedral void? You just see here there are 6 spheres, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 yellow colored spheres, this one, this and this. So there will be 6 spheres. Now there is also a space within these 6 spheres. Such type of void Void in the sense space, empty space or a vacancy. So the vacancy created between these 6 spheres are called octahedral void. Why it is octahedral? Because if you go on joining the centers of all these 4 spheres, sphere in the sense constituent particles, if you joining the centers of all these spheres, you will get a geometry called octahedron. So the such type of void, so that void is called octahedral void. So in 2-dimensional in 3-dimensional AB type of arrangement, so this is AB type of arrangement, this is A, B, again the third layer is similar to A. So here you can observe the number of tetrahedral voids and octahedral voids. One more type here is ABC type. ABC type. I don't have a models here, so just you consider the first layer will be A, similar to this. This is A, 2-dimensional hexagonal close packing. And I'll keep one more layer above this. This is B type. Now it will be AB. Third layer I have to keep or have to start from here. See, like this, ABC. So we have in 3 dimensions the second type by considering 2-dimensional hexagonal close packing structure. We have 2 types here. One is AB type, where you have seen the 2 types of voids, tetrahedral void and octahedral void. The second type is ABC type. So what is this ABC type? See, so this is 2-dimensional hexagonal close packed structure, clear, A type. So I'll keep one more layer like this. This is AB type. It is of first type, AB type. Now if I keep one more layer, third layer over the second layer, I get ABC type, like this. So this will be of ABC. Again fourth layer is similar to A type. Again fifth layer is similar to B type. So it has ABC in 3 dimensions. So this type of 3-dimensional close packing structure is known as cubic close packing. Cubic close packing. And the unit cell of this is FCC. What is FCC? In FCC the particles are present at the centers of each face. So if you consider this is 3-dimensional ABC type of arrangement. If you consider small portion of the crystal lattice, it will be of FCC type. So unit cell of this 3-dimensional structure is FCC. Whereas AB type, the 3-dimensional, this is AB type. This is known as HCP or hexagonal close packing in 3 dimensions. So this is 3-dimensional HCP structure. Clear? So this is about close packing in solids in 1 dimension, in 2 dimensions and in 3 dimensions. Okay. Now, a very important topic, packing efficiency. Packing efficiency. So what is a packing efficiency? It is a percentage of total space occupied by the particles. So packing efficiency means it is a percentage of total space occupied by the particles. So now we have to calculate the packing efficiency in simple cube, in body centered cubic unit cell, and in face centered cubic unit cell. Now let us consider the packing efficiency in simple or primitive unit cell. So what is simple or primitive unit cell? It is a type of unit cell where the constituent particles present only at the corner positions. So I'll take here cubic unit cell, in that simple unit cell. Right. So here particles present, there are 8 corners. Clear? There are 8 corners in the unit cell, and at each corner position there is a constituent particles. Now I want to calculate the packing efficiency of this unit cell. It is a percentage of total space. See, I'll consider only 2 corner particles. So this is one corner. See here. So these are the corner particles. These 2 spheres, they are in contact with one another. For a symbolic representation, we are always writing or we are always expressing it like this. But actually in real, these particles are closer to one another like this. In 3 dimension, the particles they must be in contact with one another. Now I considered these 2 corner particles. So now let small letter A be the edge length or side of the cube. So you can see here there are 12 edges. So this is one edge, its length is A, small letter A can be represented by small letter E, and this is also one more edge, it is A. So all the 12 edges, they are represented by the letter A. So here also this is the edge length. So let A be the edge length or side of the cube. Now let R be the radius of the sphere. These constituent particles are like spheres. So the distance from the nucleus to up to here, let it be R. This is also distance R. So let R be the radius of the sphere. Now, what is the relationship between A and R? You see here, I'll name it as AB. So the distance between A and B, it is R and R, 2 times R. So I'll write like this, A is equal to 2R. A is equal to 2R. Yes or no? Yes. So the distance between A and B, it is A, which is equal to 2 times that of R. So I can write like this, A is equal to 2R. Now, we have studied in cubic in a simple unit cell, in simple unit cell or in primitive unit cell, there is only one particle, there is only one particle per unit cell. While doing the calculation of number of atoms per unit cell, we studied in case of a simple unit cell, only one particle is present per unit cell. If you consider a BCC, what is BCC? If you consider this is a BCC unit cell, at the center of the body also there is a constituent particle along with the corner particles, where the number of particles per unit cell is 2. Whereas in FCC, the total number of particles per unit cell is 4. So in simple unit cell, there is only one particle. While writing the derivation, you need to write the sentence. It is very important. In simple unit cell, there is only one particle. Now, what is our packing efficiency formula? Packing efficiency which is equal to, what is packing efficiency? It is a percentage of total space occupied by the particles. Volume of one sphere or one particle divided by volume of cubic unit cell. So this is a cubic unit cell. ಇದರ ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಉಂಟಾ ಅಷ್ಟು ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಯುಪೈ ಆಗಿ ಉಂಟು ಅಂತ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ಯಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಎಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಒನ್ ಸ್ಪಿಯರ್. Why it is 1? Because it is simple unit cell where only one particle is. You need not consider these two spheres. It will be shared by 8 other unit cells. So the particle belongs to this particular unit cell is only 1. So volume of one sphere divided by volume of the cubic unit cell into 100. In percentage we have to calculate the efficiency. Okay. Now, in the formula, volume of one sphere. What is the volume of one sphere? It is volume of one sphere or volume of sphere is equal to 4/3 pi r cube. Yes. So volume of the sphere is equal to 4/3 pi r cube. What about the volume of cubic unit cell? What is the volume of this unit cell? Since it is cube, all the three sides, length, breadth and height, all the sides are equal. So we can write volume of cube is equal to, what is the volume? Length into breadth into height. What is length? A. Breadth, it is also A into A, which is equal to A cube. But we know that A is equal to 2R here. Let us substitute A cube, which is equal to 2R cube. So it is equal to 8R cube. Now let us substitute here packing efficiency is equal to volume of one sphere. It is 4/3 pi r cube divided by volume of the cubic unit cell. What is the volume of the cube? It is 8 into r cube multiplied by 100. So r cube gets cancels. What is the value? So 4 into 100, here 5/6 into 100, which is equal to, what is the value of pi? It is 3.14 divided by 6 into 100, will get 52.36%, or approximately we can write 52.4. So this is the packing efficiency in simple cubic unit cell. 52%. So in a 52% the particles are arranged, occupied, whereas the remaining space, maybe it is 48%, it is of empty space. So what is packing efficiency? It is a percentage of total space. So out of the total space, whatever is available in the cubic unit cell, only the 52% is occupied by the particles. Important topic, it is asked for 3 marks. Okay. Now we need to calculate the packing efficiency in BCC. Students, note it down. Now let us calculate the packing efficiency in FCC, in face-centered cubic unit cell. So what do you mean by a FCC or a face-centered cubic unit cell? In this type of unit cell, along with the corner particles, we have a constituent particle at the center of every 6 faces. For the calculation, I'll consider only this face. You can see here, so I'll consider 2 corner particles here. These are the corner particles, these are the corner particles, and this is a particle which is present at the center of this face. Clear? Now, what is the packing efficiency? What is the percentage that the particles are occupied in a particular FCC unit cell? Let A be the edge length, let A be the edge length. Clear? So this is A, these are all A edges, this is also A. What about this? This is also A. Clear? So let A be the edge length or side of the cube. Let R be the radius of the sphere. Let R be the radius of the sphere. So this is radius R, this is also R, and this is also of R. So R be the radius of the sphere. Now, in the previous derivation, we have written that the relationship between edge length A and R is equal to A equal to 2 times R. Whether we can write like this? No, because there is no edge only here, right? So now we need to obtain the relationship or a relation between A and R. For that, I'll join these 2 corners. See, diagram is also very important. Without the diagram, if you write the derivation in the exam, you won't get any marks. Okay, this carries 1 mark. Out of 3 marks, you'll get 1 mark for the diagram. See, I'll join these 2 corners. So I'll give the name for this. A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, this corner is H. Clear? Now, HC, this is corner H and this is corner C. Let HC is equal to B, small letter b. I'll take HC as B. Let HC is equal to B be the face diagonal. It is not a edge length, it is face diagonal. Why I am writing this? Because I need the relationship between A and R. Directly we cannot write the relationship there. So I had joined those two corners H and C. So let HC is equal to B be the face diagonal. Now I can imagine I can consider the two triangles here. So I'll consider this triangle DHC. Consider triangle DHC. Look at this triangle DHC. Using Pythagoras theorem, we can write what? Triangle DHC, we can write like this. HC square is equal to the sum of squares of other two sides. HC square is equal to DC square plus DC square plus HD square. Now, what is DC here? What is HC here? It is B. B square is equal to, what is DC? It is edge. Its length is A, so we can write like this, A square plus, what is HD? It is also A. So, it is equal to 2A square, or we can write B is equal to square root of 2 into A. So, now there is a relationship between A and B. What we have to do? We need a formula or a relationship between edge length A and radius. So, let it equation 1, B is equal to square root of A. Now, so the distance HC, distance between H and C, it is B. Also we can write B is equal to, see, this is B, from here to here it is R, radius it is, radius of one sphere, again, one more R, 2R, 3R, so up to C, it is 4 times that of R. So B is equal to 4R, equation 2. Now see equations 1 and 2, where B is equal to square root of 2 into A and B is equal to 4 into R. We can equate equations 1 and 2. So we can write square root of 2 into A is equal to 4 into R. That is, A is equal to, we can write 4R divided by square root of 2, or 4R so which is equal to 2 root 2 R. What is A here? A is equal to 2 root 2 R. Now, you got the relationship between A and R. In simple unit cell, here A is equal to 2R, whereas in FCC, A is equal to 2 root 2R. After that, we have to write the sentence. In FCC, there are how many particles? There are 4 particles per unit cell. In FCC, In FCC, there are 4 particles per unit cell. Per unit cell. Okay, what is our packing efficiency formula? Packing efficiency is equal to volume occupied by the 4 spheres in this case. Volume occupied by the 4 spheres divided by volume of the cubic unit cell. So now we need to calculate volume of the sphere. Volume of the sphere, it is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube, right? We need volume of 4 spheres. So volume of 4 spheres or 4 particles is equal to 4 times 4 by 3 pi r cube. Okay. Now we need volume of the cube. Volume of cube or cubic unit cell, which is equal to, what is the volume of the cube? All the 3 sides are equal, so we can write length into breadth into height, a into a into a, it is equal to a cube. What is a? We have a is equal to 2 into root 2r, so I'll write like this, 2 root 2 into r, it's cube. Now directly we can substitute here by writing the formula. Packing efficiency is equal to volume occupied by 4 spheres. Volume occupied by 4 spheres divided by volume of the cubic unit cell into multiplied by 100. So what is the volume occupied by the 4 spheres? Volume of the 4 spheres, 4 into 4 by 3 pi r cube divided by volume of the cubic unit cell. Volume of the cubic unit cell is 2 root 2r cube into 100. No need to simplify this. Directly you can write the percentage, that is 74%. In the exam itself, it is enough if you write. After doing this, directly you can write the final packing efficiency. So in FCC, packing efficiency 74%. It is more than that of simple cube. Where in simple cubic unit cell, what is the percentage? 52.4%, because only in the 50% the particles are arranged, occupied, whereas if you consider FCC, in FCC there are 4 particles per unit cell, so the percentage is more. The remaining is empty space. Clear? This is also important derivation for 3 marks. Now one more is there, that is packing efficiency in BCC unit cell. So next is packing efficiency in body-centered cubic unit cell. What is body-centered cubic unit cell? Here along with the corner particles, we have particle at the center of the body. So I'll consider this is the center of this body. So there is a particle like this. There is an atom or a constituent particle at the center of the body, and I'll consider 2 corner particles. This is one corner particle. This is also one more corner particle. They must be in contact with one another. Okay, now A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Okay. Let A be the edge length. Let A be the edge length or side of the cube. Edge length. Let, so these are all the edges. A, its length is A it is. Okay. Let R be the, small letter R be the radius of the sphere. Let R be the radius. See, this is R. From this is also R. Like this. Now, let us obtain the relationship between A and R. A and R. So this is A and R. Directly we cannot write the relation here. So for that, what we have to do is, we need to join these two corners like this. So join the corner F and G. Let, I'll write like this, let FG is equal to C. I'll give it as C, small letter C, be the body diagonal. It has body diagonal. Okay. So have joined the corners F and G. It has body diagonal. What is its length? It is C. Let it be C. Let FG equal to C be the body diagonal. Now can you consider this as a triangle? No. Because this is F, G, C. We cannot calculate by considering this. This is not a triangle here. So in order to calculate the length, what is R? We need to consider one more triangle here. I'll join F and D. See, let us join the corners F and D. FD. This is F. Let, I'll write like this, let FD. Let FD be the, let FD is equal, sorry. Let FD is equal to B, small letter B, be the face diagonal. Face diagonal. Clear? So this is face diagonal. Its length is B. This is body diagonal. Its length is C. And these are all the edges. Now I'll consider this triangle first. Triangle EFD. Why I'm considering this triangle? See, in this triangle, you know the length of these two sides. What is EF? It is edge length A. What is ED? A. So directly we can calculate the third side by applying Pythagoras theorem. So we can calculate B directly by applying the theorem. After that, you have to consider one more triangle here, that is FDG, because this value is known here. This is the edge length. So the third side, which is C, can be calculated. Now the first step is to calculate the side FD. So consider triangle EFD, apply Pythagoras theorem. EFD, we can write FD square is equal to the sum of the squares of other two sides, that is EF square plus ED square. What is the value of FD? What is FD? I have written here, it is, here it is there, FD equal to B. So B square is equal to, what is EF? What is EF? It is edge, its length is A square. What is FD? FD. Sorry, what is ED? What is ED? It is A. So I'll write A square plus A square, it is equal to 2A square. Let it be. Now consider one more triangle here. One more triangle here. Consider triangle FGD. 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 Apply Pythagoras theorem again. FG square. FG square is equal to FG square is equal to the sum of the squares of other two sides, that is FT square plus FG square is equal to FT square plus GD square. Okay, what is FG? FG is equal to C. FG is equal to C. It is a body diagonal. So C square is equal to, what is FT? FD. FT is equal to B. It's a square, B square. What is GD? What is GD? It is H. A square. We have the value of B square. So B square is equal to 2A square. Let us substitute here. 2A square plus A square, which is equal to 2A square plus A square is equal to 3A square. Or we can write C is equal to square root of 3 into A. Equation 1. Now we can also write C as, what is C here? C is nothing but FG, body diagonal. FG equal to C. In terms of radius, we can also write, see, this is 1R, here it is 2R, 3R, so up to here it is 4R. So we can also write like this, C is equal to 4R, equation 2. By equating equation 1 and 2, we can write root 3A is equal to 4R, or we need A, so A is equal to 4R divided by root 3. Now you need to write the sentence here. In BCC, there are 2 particles per unit cell. In BCC, there are, how many particles? There are 2 particles. Per unit cell. Okay. What is our formula to calculate the packing efficiency? Packing efficiency is equal to volume occupied by the 2 spheres. Because in BCC there are 2 particles per unit cell, so volume occupied by the 2 spheres divided by volume of the cube into 100. So what is the volume of the sphere? Volume of the sphere is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube. So volume of, we need volume of the 2 spheres. So volume of the 2 spheres is equal to 2 times pi r cube. Okay, what about the denominator? Volume of the cube. Volume of the cube is again length into breadth into height. So volume of the cube, which is equal to A into A into A cube. What is A here? A is equal to 4R divided by root 3. So I'll write 4R divided by root 3, its cube. No need to calculate, no need to simplify it again, that is enough. Now substitute. Packing efficiency is equal to volume occupied by the 2 spheres. What is the volume? Volume occupied by the 2 spheres, it is 2 into 4 by 3 pi r cube divided by volume of the cube. Volume of the cube. It is 4r by root 3 its cube into 100. R cube gets cancels here. So after the simplification, the packing efficiency is 68%. It is less than that in the case of FCC. In FCC, the packing efficiency is 74%. In BCC, it is 68%. Why it is less? Because in BCC, the number of particles present per unit cell is 2. Whereas in FCC, the number of particles present per unit cell is 4. Therefore, the packing efficiency is more. That is 74%. Whereas in simple unit cell, only one particle is present. Therefore, the packing efficiency is 52%. Clear? So out of 3 packing efficiency, any one packing efficiency, it will come for the final exam. Compulsory question it is. So calculate the packing efficiency either in simple or in BCC or FCC.